Okay, the next binding we're going to do is called a stab binding, or a often called Japanese binding. So the main difference between this is that they're loose pages, they're not folded. So my cover is just 2 sheets cut to size, and then in order to have 8 pages, you know, there's single sheets, they're not folded, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm going to put them between their covers. I'm going to jog them, which means just gather them all, and put them in my little 90-degree angle, or your phone book or whatever. I'm just going to use one of these paper clips this time. Clip it around and put these down, so it's really held in place. You just want to like check your edge, make sure everything's together. So instead of punching into the center, because we don't have a center now, it's not folded, we're going to punch on the outside. So I have my little measuring stick. This time there are 4 holes. So I'm going to put that against the edge. You can see it's coming in from the edge. You know, this is, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. So you want to decide how far in you want the binding. I'm going to poke those 4 holes at the little measurements I made. So with this binding, you're actually going through more sheets of paper. As we don't have the fold, we have to go through every single sheet. So it's a little harder to punch the holes. So you want to find something that works as an awl. You will need, I would recommend about 3 lengths of your book in thread, with like a little, always leave a little tail, so a little extra. So I have 3 lengths here. I'll leave a tiny bit extra. Run it through the wax if you want, up to you. Thread your needle. I just did that, ruined my thread. That's also what's nice about the wax. Makes it easier to thread. So I'm gonna wax it really quick. Okay. Thread your needle. So much easier. Okay. We are going to start on the bottom. So if this is your front cover, you're going to start on the bottom, and you are going to go in from the front to the back, okay, and pull it through, but leave a tail. There's no knot, remember, no knot on the end, so you just leave like a healthy tail. Now you're at the back, you're going to come around the side edge and go back through the same hole to the back again. I'm going to hold my tail down with my thumb so it doesn't pull through. And I made this nice little stitch around the edge. So I'm on the back side of the book block. And you can call it a book block when you have all your pages gathered together. And I've already poked my holes with the awl, so I should just be able to find that spot in through the back like that to the front. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go around the side edge and go back through the same hole. So you go around the side edge and you're coming from the back to the front again. Okay, and now up to the next sewing station, they would call it, or hole. And you're going in from the front to the back. And we keep my tail out of the way. And I'm going to go around the side edge again. Go out and around the side edge and back through the same hole, front to back. So you just sort of go around the side edge and then repeat the action. If you came from the front and down to the back, do that again. If you came back to front, do that again. So now I'm on the back of the book block. I'm going through the hole to the front. I am coming around the side and through to the front again. So we don't have any more holes left, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go, and we've done every little side edge, okay? So we are just going to go around the top, and back through. Before I do that, you know, you can see how it's just like every other is thread and then a gap, thread and then a gap. And this is the same on the back, thread and then a gap, thread and then a gap. So we're just actually going to fill in those gaps. So I'm going around the top, through the hole, okay, and I'm coming out on front where there is a gap to fill. And I'm just going to line up my thread. I'm going to go through the next hole. I've filled that gap. And on the back, I am filling a gap. Go through that hole, to the front, gap to fill, through that hole, to the back. Okay, and now we're down at the bottom with our tails. We have 2 tails together, and that's the last sort of gap to fill. So there are lots of different ways to do this. People have different styles. I don't think this is traditional, but essentially what I do here is I tie a square knot again. So the string that was in my right hand goes behind the string in my left hand, and I tie it down, and then the string that's in my right hand goes in front of the string in my left hand. So you choose which hand. I'm a righty, so right hand the string is behind, and then the string is in front. Then again, if you have like a nice thread, you can let it sort of dangle. You could, you know, tie a bow, add a little thing, tassel to it, or cut it and take out your, you know, clothespin or paper clip or whatever you're using. And here is your cute book. And you see pages 1, 2, 3, 4. One thing that's nice to do for this one, because if your cover is kind of stiff, here's another use for a bone folder. So I'm just going to put my ruler down right next to the sort of inside edge of the stitches. So if you can see that, like where the book would fold, where the cover would fold. So I'm going to put the ruler down along the inside edge of the stitches, and with the point of the bone folder or whatever you've found, this pottery tool has a really nice point. And I'm just going to run the bone folder back and forth, pressing like pretty hard, and that creates a fold line. That's called scoring it, creating that fold line, so it's much easier to fold. Okay, so we have our 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and if you want to do a 5-hole, it's the same process. You just add another outside sewing station. It's 2 sheets of paper, that's all, and a cover. So you have to think about your pagination, your pages. You sew in the center. And pamphlet stitch, stab binding. So you've got 4 sheets of paper to make an 8-page book and your covers. So there's a ton of information out there on the internet. Obviously, you can look up zines and zine culture, because a lot of people make books just by folding really large sheets of paper. If you like this, maybe you've done it before, please get creative, go crazy. But I really believe very beautiful books can be made with the most simple bindings. What matters is what you put inside the book. So again, we have our pamphlet stitch and our stab binding, and you know, fill it with whatever you want. Okay.